something my mom like always says, and she makes it seem so simple, but it's like if you miss somebody, call them, like or text them. Like we have no excuse not to communicate with the people that we want to talk to. So just talking to my friends from Stuart Hall, talking to my family, talking to my friends from Lewis and Clark, like knowing they're only a call away or a message away is
Mm.
something that's really helped me kept me grounded.
If you miss some, I'm writing that one down. We're gonna put that one out. If you miss somebody, call them. I think that in this work, I think oftentimes young people and some of the young men that we work with in that primary work is they're like they wait for to get the call.
Hmm.
And right, and so if someone doesn't call, then they must not care. So as opposed to the other way, it just changes a few of the words and a different
Yeah,
context. Right?
yeah,
If I'm thinking about you, I just call. Like it leaves the room of like having to make a meaning out of it
yeah.
out the picture. You know.
Hmm.
Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really glad you've joined us. Today's guest is Zeke Crawford. Zeke is a professional basketball player in Switzerland right now. We met when he was a sophomore in high school at Stuart Hall in San Francisco. And in this conversation, we reconnect. One of the most exciting part about this conversation is that I have been thinking about Zeke a lot because he has a mask that he created when he was a sophomore in high school. That the only reason I know it's his because every mask is anonymous is that as a sophomore, he put his Instagram handle on his mask. it, it happens from time to time, but this one was a unique because not only was it a very captivating mask, the front and the back, but he stood out to me in that school. He, an incredible, kind brother, athlete. He was tall. He was charming, good looking, and he came to the space and he gave his best. Sometimes I go to spaces when I go to schools where, there is not a lot of diversity. And maybe sometimes the brothers don't want to seem like they want to really connect because there's the image there, right? But we connected. We had a good quick chat. We shook hands, and I think I took a picture with him either that same day or the next time I came back. Um, but I really am proud of him. He went to Lewis and Clark. And we talk a little bit about his journey because I think he didn't see himself where he is right now. He maybe if he was seeing pieces of it, but he didn't see it, and he gave some words of encouragement to any young person out there going after their dreams. One quote that his mom told him, and that I'm going to actually tell you the exact quote. His mom told him, "If you miss somebody, call them." I mean, maybe that's the obvious for many people out there. Maybe when you miss somebody, you call them or you text them. I hope you do. How amazing would it be that I don't go to a place in my mind where I'm thinking about somebody, but I don't want to bother them. I don't want to worry them. I don't want them to, I'm going to wait for them to call me. But instead, you say, I'm going to take initiative. I'm going to call them. That workshop that we first did where I first met Zeke was at his high school. It was our first and our biggest workshop at that point. I think over 200, maybe 300 young men. It was beautiful. I mean, beautiful in the sense that it was the first time we got a chance to really prove this work can work in big spaces. And went from there, the 300 students at Stuart Hall High School. And our next big workshop after that, at least the bigger one, was over 1,000 young men at De La Salle School. Now, they're probably rivals, so I probably don't need to mention them in the same intro to this podcast. But I do want you to know that this is not about a competition. This is about brotherhood, about young men, about social emotional development, about wellness, about mental health. about knowing that we are not alone. That's what it's all about. And I'm so thankful to have been in this conversation with Zeke. It was great to see him again. And I told him that one day I'm going to visit Switzerland as long as it's not snowing or cold. As long as it's summer. How about that? I'm a very fair weather traveler, but I'm super excited about the journey. I'm super excited about you hearing this conversation. And one thing that it brought up for me as I think about not only the journey of the Million Mask movement, but of these masks, of what is happening with masks of young people all over the world, not just here in the US, but even where Zeke is currently right now in Switzerland. Young people are needing to know that they're being heard, they're being seen, that they matter. And sometimes we wait for somebody to call us and tell us, but we need to be the ones who also, when we think of someone, we call them. I, and text is beautiful too, but sometimes just hearing someone's voice also helps. We may not be able to get on a FaceTime or a Zoom or any kind of virtual where I can see your face, but maybe I just hear your voice and hear you and know that you're there and you know that I'm here. That's what we're trying to do in this movement. And so as we are approaching the end of the year, we really want your help with something. The help we're going to need is that you will write a review for this podcast, that you will tell somebody about this podcast. We envision that in 2023, we're going to be bringing on our new youth hosts, and we want you to help us connect with them. We want you to let us know if you own any young people in your life who you think would want to be in a face-to-face conversation with another teenager to really talk about these emotional masks. That's what we're talking about. That there's so much more to each of us than people can see by looking at us. So if you have not yet left a review, please do that. If you've not given us a 5-star rating, do that. If you've not shared it with anyone, please do that. Whatever way that you can get involved, I'm going to just ask you to get involved. At the end of the year, we are a nonprofit, so we are raising money. And so if you are someone who has resources that you want to invest in the work that we're doing, we invite you to go to our website, everforwardclub.org, and make an investment in this work. If you prefer to give money to purchase materials for a workshop, if you want to sponsor a school in your community, however you want to get involved, like, you will see the money go into action right away, but we invite you to get involved in that way. So with all that to say, I'm excited for you to hear from Zeke. I'm excited for you to hear this reconnection, and I hope you watch and listen to his reaction when I show him his mask from almost 6+ years ago. Enjoy this time. Enjoy this conversation. Happy holidays to all of you. Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Zeke Crawford, welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. It is so good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Man, listen, I was telling you right before we started recording, because I wanted to record this part to tell you that I think of you all the time, and it's ironic that I think of you all the time. But the first time I met you, do you remember when we met?
Yeah, we first met at Stuart Hall High School. You came and your team did a seminar, and I mean, life-changing seminar, honestly. Like, the entire school needed it, but I feel like me and my friends, we needed it the most, and that's something I'll always remember.
Oh man, and that is why that was our first big workshop. It was like, what, 300 young men there, maybe 250, 300 young men.
Yeah.
The biggest snowball fight we've ever had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we at that time, this wasn't a movement. It had no name to it. It was just me doing these workshops. And for those out there, it became the 100,000 mask challenge, and then now it's the Million Mask movement. And so I get home, and we had a experience that we would always like smash out, because they were all balled up pieces of paper.
Mhm.
We would smash them all out, kind of get them flat, and then we would have to put boxes on them to smooth them out. And then Lorenzo, remember Lorenzo? Lorenzo was one of the young men helping us present at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to show you something, and I don't know if you. we may come back to this.
Yo, no way.
This and the only reason
That
I
is
mean, these are
crazy.
anonymous. These are anonymous. So normally, I don't know who any masks belong to. We have over 65,000 masks. The
Oh
only
my
reason I know
god.
why that this who it belongs to is because someone put their Instagram handle on the bottom of the paper, and I was like, he did not put his Instagram on the bottom of an anonymous mask, and I'll never forget it. I
Oh
would never.
my
I covered.
god.
I've covered it up. That's your old Instagram right there. It's a piece of
Yeah.
paper covering that thing right there. That's what it, that was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yes, you are. You are one who I remember for many reasons, but that was one that I'm like,
Oh man.
and I think I reached out to you after. I think I talked to the principal, and I was like, "Can you put me in touch with this young man?" And then I think I reached out to you right before you graduated to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh, classic.
thank you for being back in this journey with us as we try and have these healthy conversations around the world. You know.
No, absolutely. A pleasure. That brings back so many memories. I mean, just seeing that mask takes me back to like the snowball fight, the workshop, and almost like what I was thinking at that time when I was in high school. So thank you for that. No, so many good.
Oh man. Well, how about you tell people, give us an overview of who you are, what you want people to know about you, and then you already made your mask, so I'll make my mask while you're telling and introducing yourself, and then we'll jump right in.
All right. Hello, world. My name is Zeke Crawford. Youngest of three sisters out of San Francisco, California. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology at Lewis and Clark College up in Portland, Oregon. And now I'm currently playing professional basketball in Lausanne, Switzerland. Everyone always asks me, what is the plan when, after basketball? And with my degree in psychology, I hope to, kind of move into a space where I can help athletes with the mental aspect of the game. So, always thinking ahead, but definitely grateful for what's in front of me. So happy to be here as well.
Oh man, that is so exciting, and I think that when you were at Lewis and Clark, I had come to Portland once, and then I didn't know you were there until after I left, and I think I was like, "What? I was just in
Yeah,
Portland." And so
yeah.
it was been great to kind of from time to time keep connected back with you, and thank you for being here on the show with us. And I know it's late your time, so I really appreciate you for making time. We're in different time zones around the world, so thank you for being on this journey with us.
No, absolutely, no problem. My pleasure.
Well, the way it works is the guest gets to decide who goes first. So either you decide that you go first, or you want me to go first. Whatever you choose is perfect, and just let me know, and we'll jump there.
I could lead it off.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. All
yeah.
right.
So here's my mask here.
Oh, cover the back. Cover the back. Like fold it. No, fold it in half. I'm sorry. Fold the paper. Yeah, fold it in half so we don't see the back of your mask. We reveal it in due time.
Oh, okay. So something
Awesome.
like, more like this, and then flip it
Oh
over.
no. Just you can fold it in half like you did. Just fold it in
Oh,
half and then show us the front, and then we'll do the back later.
gotcha, gotcha. So
Yeah.
boom, here's the front right here.
Okay.
Pretty thin, but just starry eyed with a big smile.
Nice.
And the qualities I tend to always let people see is someone that's funny, friendly, and trustworthy. Those are
Mm,
always, the qualities I try to give off. I'm always somebody who wants to spread positivity, spread good vibes everywhere. So I'm always someone who carries a big smile on their face, and I hope that that smile can be contagious.
awesome. Awesome. Now, how do you want to do it? You want me to do my front and then, or do you want to do front and back and then front and back? What feels right for you?
Let's go front, front, then back, back.
Okay.
I like
Great.
that.
All right. So I don't know what I was drawing this time. I'm going to put some eyes in here. This looks a little spooky for a second. Um, I, I'm always trying to like in the moment make yeah, this is what came out today. So this is the mask. This, and the words that came out were serious, funny, and dedicated. And the one that stands out to right now has been right before this call, my office manager, I was coming back into the office and she was leaving out, and she startled me, and I was like, "Don't be sneaking up on me like that!" And I just
Yeah.
started laughing so hard. Right, it was just like this moment of like, I mean, like she's 5'4", right? And, like, not that height was stop you from being scared from somebody, but she
Yeah.
like I think my heart stopped. I was like, "Whoa, what's happening here?" But you just kind of like, you startle someone, and I really enjoyed laughing. I think the
Mhm.
challenge with that, I think with me laughing and being funny is always trying to like, but I'm also really serious, and I think sometimes I don't have both, right? So when I'm like focused, people are like, "Are you mad or something?" I'm like, "No, I'm just."
Yeah.
I don't have like the funny and hardworking serious.
Right,
It's like
right.
almost like a disconnect sometimes. So
Mhm.
I have to like be careful when I'm like in a serious mode, because it can seem like I'm upset or I'm not happy, but I'm just like in like I think sometimes I'm intense. Like I'm intense
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like trying to get stuff done and big goals and dreams, and people, I may
yeah,
forget to call somebody for their birthday, and not that I don't care. I really do
yeah,
care, but sometimes I just get into that laser focus sometime that can like that can be good because I can get stuff done, but then
yeah,
also then stuff gets left out, right? So I think
yeah, yeah.
those are some thoughts that come to me on the front.
No, definitely. I mean, that's powerful. That goes, I mean, you with that serious, that tunnel vision, that also resonates with that dedication, and when you're dedicated to one thing, other things can kind of, veer off the path, but that doesn't mean that you don't care. It's just, a dedication can be such a one-track mind sometimes. So I definitely
Yeah,
resonate with that.
yeah. I think that even that like being careful not to. I mean, that can even be true for my own health, right? I think I've been making some serious commitments lately to like eat better, stop with my food, the sweets that I love so much, right? Like
Yeah.
how to make better decisions, right? Like when I'm always at my desk working, like it's different than when I'm moving around a lot and I'm in the traveling and doing workshops. It's a very different kind of like it's more sedentary, and it's like, oh, okay, this is not how I need to be operating, but also trying to figure how to have a balance, making sure I make time for that too. So yeah, man, that's the front line right
Yeah.
there.
The front life, the mask, the front of the
The
mask.
That's the mask. That's right. That's right.
So
So now,
here for the
hey,
back,
okay,
I think even though it's subtle, I know
yeah.
like when I start getting down on myself, I tend to avoid eye contact. So like the
Mm,
eyes looking down were like really, really important to me. And some
yeah.
qualities I typically hide are just feeling scared, feeling indecisive, and then also
Mm,
just generally confused.
yeah.
I we're all afraid of what we don't know to a certain extent. So when I don't know something or whenever I feel confusion, uh, that leads me to get scared. And I always try to hide if I'm feeling scared through smiling, or if I'm indecisive about something, that's when I put on the mask and just try to smile and laugh it off. So um, that's definitely a side of me that not a lot of people get to see, and a side that's pretty just opposite of my character. But I
Yeah.
think those are also uh some things that describe me at times when I'm not feeling my best, or when I'm feeling a little anxious about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. And as an athlete, I mean, I imagine that's, and as an athlete who's now international and professional and doing the work and people around town and all the things that you have to navigate in that
Yeah.
world, I imagine it adds other layers on it too, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm confused a lot of the time because everyone speaks French here, and I'm
Mm,
trying to learn French. So being here definitely kind of pushes me outside of my comfort zone, and kind of can make me feel triggered to feel some of these things. So being out here has kind of been a challenge to embrace a little bit of that, because it's a part of life. And I can say I'm living my dream, but if my dream is me constantly feeling out of my comfort zone, kind of feeling those emotions that are under the mask, then it's something I'm gonna have to constantly work through.
yeah. Yeah. I I wonder in that, I mean, now I actually didn't know this. It's actually good for my geography and my own trivia knowledge. I didn't know that in Switzerland they speak French. I don't think I knew that. Um,
Yeah, so
is it are they just
geographically,
Oh, I'm
uh,
sorry.
no, no worries. Just to break it down for you. So,
Okay.
what I learned very quickly was geographically, the way Switzerland is set up, it's kind of like in the middle of Western Europe. So, on to the north of Switzerland is Germany, to the
Okay.
west of Switzerland is France, and then to the southeast is Italy. So,
Okay.
this country
Okay.
technically has three national languages, and whatever country you're closest to, that's the language they're going to be speaking. So, like last year, I was in Zurich and they were speaking German, and this year I'm in Lausanne. It's closer to France, so now they're speaking French.
Hmm.
So, I mean, definitely depends on where you land, but I mean, so many different things coming at you at once.
Oh man, what a wild, amazing experience. Or do you take like classes or like online classes, or you just like learn? You feel like you're just learning kind of as you go, kind of picking up words here and there.
Definitely right now I'm kind of learning as I go. I mean, I have like Duolingo on my phone, but I'm telling myself I need to kind of look for a more serious online class because sometimes I don't take Duolingo as seriously as I should. But whenever I'm at practice or if I'm in the locker room with my teammates, I'm just hearing French back and forth. So I'm
Mm.
definitely getting an ear for it, but I just gotta, kind of put some more context behind it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I look forward
Absolutely.
to learning more about that journey and that adventure. Here's the back. Here's the back. Here's mine. So the three I wrote were fear. I wrote worrier and doubt. And I think that I'll start with I'll come to worrier first because like I usually want to be on the front writing I'm a warrior, you know?
Mhm.
But I think oftentimes I feel like I'm more of a worrier than a warrior, you
Mhm.
know? And I think that the goal for me oftentimes is like I think the worry is like the worry about the fears maybe sometime. Like, okay, like, Oakland is Oakland has been Oakland. I've been born and raised here, right?
No,
But I think
absolutely.
I was more fearless when I was 17 than I am
Yeah,
now, right?
yeah.
And I think like I didn't worry about what time I went to out. I went to the grocery store, whatever time I went. I went like those. I was in a fearless season, and now
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get gas at nighttime. I don't think I'm going to like I because of the wildness that is happening in our world. Sometimes
Mhm,
I feel like I'm like operating out of fear, like
mhm.
too much,
No,
too
absolutely.
much. And I think that it's sometimes I want to just turn it off. I'm like, nah, I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna go get gas whatever time. But
Yeah.
also I'm intelligent enough to know that I don't really need it right now. Right. Like,
Mhm.
but I don't want to operate out of fear. I don't want to have life where I'm operating like, no, I'm not gonna go get this grocery because it's, I think I don't want to operate like that. I want to, and I've never been really worried about it. I think maybe when I find myself getting sucked into this device too much
Yeah.
and I'm watching and my algorithm tells me what I
Yeah.
love, what I
The
watch most of,
algorithm
right?
knows.
I watch the latest craziness and then I'm like, yeah, I think I'm not gonna I think I'm gonna just stay at home right now,
Yeah.
like that's not how I want to live. And I think I know I need to put the device down. It almost makes it seem like it's happening so much more often than maybe it's happening a lot around the world, right? But maybe I'm letting those images, and I know what it does to young people too, right? So I know like my own mind makes up a story. How? What if you have a young person who doesn't have any frontal lobes who've kicked in yet, and they
Mm.
believe that what they see in there is all
Yeah.
that there is? You could easily have people who are like, "I'm never leaving the house ever," right?
No,
And when I met
absolutely.
young people who were like truant at school and not wanting to leave, I got it. Like you've been
Mhm.
watching images of what happens when you walk out the door and you believe that that's right around your corner and you've seen it happen down the street from you and now you told yourself it's going to happen to me. And how do you help somebody break free from those images, right? That you can't unsee, they're recorded in there, right? And that's part of the work that I do. And I think the fear is just, our young people, our young men who are hurting inside, and they're hurting others, right? Hurt people, and we're seeing a lot of that every day. And the last one, doubt. Yeah, just sometimes doubt seeps in, and it sometimes is heavier than times than others. But like, like I was telling my mentor the other day, I can't work any harder. I got to figure out how to work smarter because I believe in this mission. I think that, and how do I help this mission grow and not get in the way of it, and find and build the right infrastructure and team to help it grow. So those are the three that are pretty present right now. And so fear, worry, and doubt.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel a bunch of those. I mean, sometimes I feel like people feel the same emotions, but they come out in different words. So, I mean, everything you were
Yeah.
saying as far as, the phone, I mean, it seems like I'm scrolling, all I see is bad news, and kind of that awareness of all the wrong that's going on. It just naturally internalizes. So, I mean, being a warrior, having doubts, like I feel like we're feeling the same emotions, but sometimes we just interpret them in different words. So I feel you on that.
Yeah. One of the things I'll be interested as you are in living your dream right now in this, how are you in touch with any of your peers from back at in high school? Are you in touch with many folks?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people from Stuart Hall I'm still definitely in contact with, as well as a lot of my college friends and teammates, and they've just been like super, super supportive, and that's kind of really helped kind of keep me grounded. Something my mom like always says, and she makes it seem so simple, but it's like if you miss somebody, call them, like or text them. Like we have no excuse not to communicate with the people that we want to talk to. So just talking to my friends from Stuart Hall, talking to my family, talking to my friends from Lewis and Clark, like knowing they're only a call away or a message away is
Mm,
something that's really helped me kept me grounded.
if you miss some, I'm writing that one down. We're gonna put that one out. If you miss somebody, call them. I think that in this work, I think oftentimes young people and some of the young men that we work with in that primary work is they're like they wait for to get the call.
Hmm.
And right, and so if then someone doesn't call, then they must not care. So as opposed to the other way, it just changes a few of the words and a different
Yeah,
context, right?
yeah.
If I'm thinking about you, I just call, like, as opposed to like I don't want to bother them, I don't want to worry them, I don't want to like it leaves the room of like having to make a meaning out of it
Yeah.
out the picture, you know?
Mhm. Because oftentimes that person is gonna make that person's day, or like, "Oh, I was thinking about so and so," or, "Oh," that's typically how it happens when you text somebody. They're like, "Hey, I was just thinking about you," and I think, it's just that type of energy when you build these friendships, when you're connected with your family and your support system, like, you guys are just naturally on that same wavelength, so if you're feeling something, you might as well act on it. Because we all know life is too short, but to hold these emotions that we have and just kind of sit with them. And for me, it's been really apparent, being other side of the world, being alone most of the time. It's like I can literally just sit in my apartment and like isolate myself, but I know that's not good for me. I know there's so many people I could talk to. There's people who, have congratulated me on their Instagram post. So like, why not give them a call? Why not, text them or send them a message?
Yeah. How, like, thinking back, like when you were younger, like, your younger self, like was was your mom, is that a phrase your mom has said since you moved to Switzerland, or was that a phrase that she always would say? Is that a new thought process, or was that always the case?
I would say it was a little bit always the case, but it just
Mm.
kind of became more prevalent first when I went off to college in Oregon. That was like my first time away from home, first time living by myself, and then it just became even further emphasized when I came over to Switzerland. Just because when I was in Oregon, I was still surrounded by friends, still in the same
Mm.
time zone, so it wasn't too much of a dramatic change. But cross the pond, 9-hour time difference. It starts hitting a little bit different. So I think it just became more emphasized when I came over here. But she's definitely always said it whether it came to relatives or old friends. She was like, "Oh, have you talked to so and so from kindergarten or elementary school?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't, but oh, we're like friends on Facebook or friends on Instagram." So she's always said it, but it's became more prevalent as time went on.
Yeah. I wonder, you know, this is a conversation, so it's not an interview. There's no questions prepared, so I'm just kind of going with the flow. So if something comes to your mind or a thought, I mean, I think the mask. I mean, I want maybe I will never forget that workshop. I won't forget it. I had met your principal, Mr. Farrell, at a conference, and we had talked about it, and he was like, "Oh, you got to, we want you to bring this to our school." And I was like, "Great." I had my first time on your campus. And I think I remember, if I remember right, I remember it was no school that day. I think they did, you watched the documentary, I think. And then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had the workshop afterwards in the gym. And I just remembered like that space. Like it was really echoey in that gym. Like I was
yeah,
like, can they hear? I hope they can hear me. Like
yeah,
and I remember passing out 300 markers and paper.
yeah.
It was just a wild ride. And I think, you know, do you remember that? Like, what do you, maybe I can ask this question. What do you remember about you at that time and what you experienced in that workshop with all those other young men? Because that it was all at that time they weren't doing a lot of intermingling classes with Sacred Heart. So Sacred Heart is that the
Compton of the
school?
Sacred
The
Heart.
convent of Sacred Heart, right? Um, so it was just all boys there. What do you remember what you remember from that experience?
I just remember like everyone just had a willingness to share, and I think it was pardon accredited to just the way the workshop was set up. I mean, I can't clearly remember the icebreakers we had in the beginning, but I remember they were kind of like fun icebreakers, just kind of loosening up the entire group. And I think that's important for boys. You can't just start hammering home like, all right, let's rip off the mask. You kind of, got to ease into it. And I just remember like the icebreakers are really fun. Like we were all happy we didn't have like classes, so it was just nice to do something different. But the fun icebreakers and then that kind of transition into giving the space to just kind of be vulnerable because especially at an all boys schools, like being vulnerable is almost the last thing you do, especially in front of the whole school, let alone in your own friend groups. But I
Yeah,
just remember, I specifically remember after we had the snowball fight, uh, we all like opened up the anonymous mask, and you went around one by one and everybody was saying like things behind the mask. And I specifically remember you at first, there's a lot of people, so you wanted to get through everybody, but you kind of took a moment and stopped yourself and said, like, wait, no, this is some powerful stuff we're hearing as far as what's behind the mask. And you really took the time to hear out what everybody was saying, even though it wasn't even their words. These are
yeah,
random, masks that anybody could have picked up. So
yeah,
I just really remember the power you gave to the people, the emotions that people shared anonymously. And I felt like once people heard their mask being read by, someone they may not have been friends with, or just, hearing it out loud and them not saying it themselves, I think there was a lot of power in that. And it was a lot of freedom. And then being able to get in small groups and kind of talk about that after just kind of really hammered home the point and made it even
yeah,
easier to talk about. So I think just the
yeah.
setup was beautiful, and the way you kind of like slowly loosened us up and broke us down and
Mhm.
incorporated fun into it as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. We that workshop has was a pivotal piece for the growth of the work. I think at the time that was the biggest workshop we'd ever done, and then that led to the opportunity for us to go and present at at De La Salle, which is over 1,000
Yeah,
boys, right? So it's kind of like that was the kick, that was a catalyst to the bigger work that we got to do, right? And I think it's one of those workshops that I am forever thankful for, and for Mr. Farrell's trust in our work and the willingness to, the way they describe it, they don't usually bring people in to do, they have people in the doing stuff in the chapel or whatever, like some
Yeah,
speech, but to do
yeah,
some interactive, like
yeah,
physically charged. I mean, I remember the pile up that happened in the middle at
yeah,
first was like almost turned into
yeah.
WWE. It was like I was like, oh, please don't get hurt. Please
Oh,
don't let nobody get hurt in the middle of this pile. And then
oh man.
and then there was just papers everywhere. It was. I'll never forget it, man. I think for that piece, you remember. I think that you were a sophomore maybe that year. I think maybe it was a sophomore. I think you may have been your second year there. Like, do you remember, like, as you think about your mask then and then now, like, do you have any recollection of like how you have seen masks operate in the world since then? Like, like I think the concept of a mask is pretty, people they get it when they see it, and we can easily just go back into like, oh, what I see is what it is, right? But
Right.
have you seen them show up in? I mean, you've been playing now in Oregon, you've been playing now in Europe. Have you seen masks show up any other places in your life?
I mean, I think that workshop just kind of made me more aware to the fact that people can be wearing a mask, but then also realizing when people kind of take that mask off around you as well, I think
Yeah,
has made me more aware of when people are being vulnerable or when people are opening up. But I've seen it just in like everyday interactions and in terms of when it comes to sports, I've seen people kind of, become a different person when it comes to playing sports, or like some of those what could be perceived as negative emotions are either hindering them or pushing them to perform
yeah,
in ways that they really wanted. So um, I've seen it in many different ways. Like, when people are scared, like you never really know what they're going to do, but that can
yeah,
result in something good or that can result in something bad. So
yeah,
I think through each interaction, I'm just constantly uh, gauging if I'm, seeing the front side of somebody's mask or what's under the mask. And I think also, it changes every day. There's days when
yeah,
I'm not wearing my mask at all. Like you mentioned earlier, like you can be serious about something and someone can think you're upset, but it's just like, nah, this is just, I'm focused right now. So I think there are
mm,
times when like the mask may be off, but there aren't necessarily any negative emotions. Just kind of just like, take me as I am, world. This is just the Zeke you're getting today.
yeah. Oh man, man. I'm so proud of you and happy for you, brother. Uh I hope to come there before while you're still there. I hope
Yeah, definitely.
I've never been to Switzerland ever. And I don't like the cold. So, oh wait, doesn't it get cold there?
Oh yeah, no, it's not snowing yet, but the snow is like right around the corner. But it turns into like a winter wonderland here.
Oh man, so you're gonna have a white Christmas? You're gonna have a white Christmas there?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I mean, I'm not for the skiing or the snowboarding, but I'll definitely look at the snow.
Oh man, I may have to wait to the spring. I may have to wait to the spring.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't think I'll even own a winter coat that would survive Switzerland. Even your dogs have big old coats on them over
yeah,
there. You
no,
know what I mean?
definitely,
That's right.
definitely.
You know, I first of all, thank you. Thanks for being on the show. I'm glad we got to reconnect.
Me
I've
too,
been following you
absolutely.
forever, but I just happened to see a post pass by my, and I'm like, where has this man been? What are you doing now? I found myself in your page, and so thankful and proud of you, brother.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for trusting that workshop so many years ago that you participated in. And I said, I have no idea who any of the other masks belong to. This is the only one who I knew because you gladly shared your Instagram handle on there. But
No.
even more than that, when I share this mask with people and they're like, oh wow, I mean, there was just some depth to whatever was happening in your life, and from the outside, I don't think I would have never have known, or maybe no one else would have known. But I appreciate you for being real in that space and for taking it serious
No,
and for
absolutely. I mean,
and you
just
were part of the movement. You're one of the like, you as you see the Million Mask movement continue to grow, and one day we're gonna have some schools in Switzerland making masks, and you
yeah,
be like,
no,
I remember
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. I mean, just
You're
thank you for allowing, creating that space just because it's something that isn't talked about, especially when it comes to young men. And, I can only imagine it's becoming more popular because it's becoming more important in society. So I
yeah.
just want to thank you. And actually, funny enough, I was taking a course in at Lewis and Clark, and we watched the documentary. And you showed up in the documentary while we were in class, and I was just so mind blown. I mean, I felt ahead of everybody else because I'm like, oh, I've been through the workshop. Like I got the inside scoop. But it was just really like amazing for me to see you in a college classroom and us breaking down the dialect and the conversations that were going on and to be
Oh
a part of
man.
it. So
That's right.
thank you.
I think that's even more. Thank you. So I'm glad you got to participate in that. And I think when I got that message from you, I think you sent me a message. I forgot what platform, and I was like, "Oh man, you should have made masks with them."
Yeah.
I think you were already. It was already too. It was already over, or
Yeah.
whatever. But I was so thankful for that. And I'm, we're growing this movement, and I think those are the places and the pieces that help us to continue having these conversations. And that's why we create this podcast. It's like, how do we have men of all ages, from all backgrounds, living wherever they live in the world, who can have real conversations that is not just about what did you score last game? Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah.
not about like, oh, what's your next plan? And
Right.
it's about
Right.
like how are you feeling? Like how are things
Right.
going? Like what are some needs you have? Like what are some thoughts that, is there anything that can support you with, right? I think we need more of that so that when I'm thinking about somebody, I'm not going to call them and think I really want to have a real conversation, but we're only going to talk about sports and cars and money and
Right.
girls. And then
Right.
I'm really needing to talk about the fact that I'm feeling a little bit isolated, right? I'm feeling, and to know that I need to have those real conversations too. So that's what I hope this conversation will allow people to do.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the movement's definitely growing. I feel really, really blessed to have been a part of it at one
You are. I'm actually gonna post the video of that snowball fight. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it sometime this Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm gonna post it, and I'm gonna tag you in it. I don't know where you are in the
Yeah,
room in
I'm
there, but
somewhere in the
I'm gonna
in the madness.
somewhere in the mess, in the
Yeah.
mix, in the mosh pit of
Yeah.
of Stuart Hall. Any message you want to say to young people out there who are maybe they're athletes, maybe they're figuring themselves out, maybe they're you know sophomores in high school like you were when we first met, and trying to be like whatever that is. I got a big dream, I got a goal, and maybe sometimes feeling like they don't know how they're going to get there. Is there any words you have for any message you want to have for anyone out there? But
uh, I guess when it comes to, I'll just start off with when it comes to chasing a goal. There was a point in time where like I never pictured myself where I am now, but that didn't stop me from putting in the work. So, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, I would just say like never give up. And even on those days where you feel like it's pointless, even on those days where you feel like there's no rhyme or reason to what you're doing, like you taking each one of those steps means something. And I think for me, the thing that kind of kept me going was knowing that I had so many people behind me. I think that kind of like it shook me up a little bit because the times that I was getting down on myself or the times that
hmm,
I felt it was pointless for me to continue chasing this dream, I would just kind of like I talked to my family, I talked to my friends, and like hearing them say like we believe in you, like knowing that you have people in your corner, like it almost to me it felt like a disgrace to like not believe in myself because I had so many people believing in me. So I would say, rely on your support system and just never give up. And I feel like the most important thing is uh, this life is so short. So just live in the moment, embrace the grind, be grateful for the successes, be grateful for the failures because, like, life is beautiful, even though it may feel like tough sometimes. But the fact that you get to get up and try each day, like, there's a lot of beauty in that. So, really just live in the moment, never give up, and just be grateful for those who support you.
Hmm. And with that, that is it right there. Brother, I am I feel joy, I feel gratitude, I feel appreciation, and I'm really proud of you. And
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna find those pictures, and I'm gonna find that video of when this first happened, and I want you to know that that you know take a step in your just self knowing that you're trusting in that space help this mission to grow. If I went to that school and most of the kids were like, "This is dumb. I ain't doing this stupid
Yeah,
thing," and
yeah,
it would have been hard for me to keep going. It would have been hard for me not to quit, but to see you all believe that just with these short few words and one picture that it could make a difference. You have helped make a difference, and for the thousands of people around the world who make masks, and I want to appreciate you and all your peers who I will never maybe meet, but or meet again. I'm glad to still know you. I'm glad to still be in touch with you, and I'm
absolutely.
here for you. If you ever feel the need to just talk, vent, whatever, I'm here. So just never forget that, brother.
No, absolutely. Nothing but gratitude. I mean, I just, even from that day one and the fact that we remained in contact, I always knew that, everything that you were saying was genuine and real. So I have nothing but gratitude. And I just feel blessed that we have this connection and that we will continue to have this connection. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the Alps when
Yeah.
there's no snow on them, and the sun is out.
Yeah.
I'm very much a fair weather traveler, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do hope after the season is over, I can before you take a break or whatever, I can come and visit and learn a few words. I only know like merci and
Yeah,
we.
I'm
That's all
right
I
there
know.
with you. When you make it out here after the season, hopefully I'll know a lot more French than I do now.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, man. Brother, happy holidays. I know that, right now, just so people get an idea when we're recording this. We're recording this right before Thanksgiving. Do you have, people there who celebrate Thanksgiving, or do you just going to be just another day in the office?
It's weird, like, Thanksgiving is very much an American holiday. To them, it's just another Thursday, but we're oddly enough, they do have Black Friday here. I guess that's just for the people wanting deals and wanting to buy stuff, but, I'll probably just try to, like, make the best that I can, some type of Thanksgiving meal. That's what I typically do, and then I'll typically, call my family or FaceTime my friends, so still try to
Awesome.
celebrate the holidays how I can.
All right, man. Well, I look forward to seeing your feast, what you're gonna create. Enjoy, enjoy your week. Have a happy season, and we'll be in touch for sure.
No, absolutely. Thank you again. Have a lovely rest of your week.
Thank you, brother. Brother Zeke. Listen, folks, Zeke and I, we share our masks here publicly. You don't have to share your mask publicly. You can go to millionmask.org. You can make your mask online anonymously and be a part of this movement. And if any of the words you heard here today inspire you, if you know a young person who just needs to hear from Zeke's inspiring words, please share this episode with them. And we look forward to you also being a part of this movement that's hoping to change the world in the best way possible. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Brother Zeke. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show today. The Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Graphics are by Kelly Wong. And a special thanks to the team at Ever Forward, Vanessa Cortez and Choke Allen Alvarez. We'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast as we cross the 100th episode milestone and begin the work to the next 100. We hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask family. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, and share, as we look forward to continuing to have conversations that matter. Stay tuned for the relaunch of the Million Mask Movement on 11/11/22. That's November 11th. of 2022. There's a math problem in there. You can find out more by visiting everforwardclub.org and following us on social media. Take care, and we'll see you soon.